The moment my world collapsed happened in our kitchen in Austin, Texas. On a humid summer evening in 1996. I was 6 months pregnant, my belly pressing against the granite counter as I chopped vegetables for dinner. Steam rose from the grilled salmon on the stove, and the air smelled of garlic and lemon. I just scribbled a quick note on a pad, red or white wine tonight, and held it over my shoulder without turning around. Michael, my husband, stood close enough that I felt his presence, that familiar quiet warmth I'd come to rely on. Then he spoke. Actual words. In a voice I'd never heard. Deep.
Steady.
With the polished cadence of someone educated at a good school.
Laura.
I need to tell you something. The note slipped from my fingers and fluttered to the tile floor. I turned slowly, my pregnant belly bumping the counter edge, sending a dull ache through my side. Michael was right there, his blue eyes locking onto mine. But now his lips were moving, forming sounds.
Real sounds.
I'm not deaf, he said quietly. I never was. My mind refused to catch up at first. The words hung in the air like smoke. I could hear him perfectly, every syllable clear and unfiltered. I've been able to hear everything this whole time. My knees buckled. I gripped the counter for support, the baby kicking sharply inside me, as if sensing the earthquake in my chest.
What?
The whisper escaped before I could stop it. Then louder. Sharper. What did you just say? He stepped back a fraction, hands raised slightly. Please, let me explain. There's a reason. But I wasn't listening anymore. My ears rang with the betrayal. 2 years. 2 years of learning American Sign Language from scratch, practicing until my hands cramped at night. 2 years of believing he needed me to bridge his silent world. And now this voice, his real voice, proved it had all been a performance. To understand how we got here,
I need to take you back.
It was 1994, and I was 33, living in a tiny apartment in Chicago. I worked as a junior graphic designer at a small firm downtown, sketching logos and layouts until my eyes burned. Every Sunday, my mother called, without fail. Your cousin Sarah just had her second baby, she'd say, her voice laced with that mix of pride and pointed disappointment.
Laura.
You're not getting any younger. Good men don't wait around for women in their 30s. I'd stare out at the gray lake through my window, phone clutched tight, murmuring responses while the loneliness settled heavier each week. I wasn't desperate exactly, but the emptiness was real. Friends were pairing off, starting families. Family gatherings felt like spotlights on my single status. So when Mom mentioned Michael Hayes, son of her bridge club friend Evelyn, I actually listened. He's successful. Runs a software startup here in Chicago now. Handsome. Stable. But he had a terrible car accident a couple years back. Lost his hearing completely. He's adapted wonderfully. Reads lips like a pro. Signs beautifully. Most women shy away from that kind of commitment. But you'd be different. Laura. You've always had such a kind heart. The manipulation was subtle. But I bit. A man who wouldn't dismiss me for being too old or too career-focused. Someone who might appreciate the effort I'd put in. Okay, I told her. One dinner. Our first meeting was at a quiet Italian place in the Loop. Michael was tall with neatly trimmed dark hair, sharp blue eyes that seemed to study everything carefully, and an expensive watch glinting under the low lights. He carried a small notebook and pen. I'd crammed basic signs from a library book for 2 weeks, but he made it effortless. We wrote notes back and forth between bites of pasta. Your mom can't stop talking about her brilliant designer daughter, he scribbled, a small smile playing on his lips. I blushed, writing back. She makes me sound like some prize to auction off. His reply, she undersold you. Something warm stirred in my chest that night. We started dating properly, coffee dates where we'd exchange notes over lattes, long walks along Lake Michigan where he'd squeeze my hand during quiet moments. I enrolled in proper ASL classes 3 nights a week. Michael was endlessly patient, his fingers gently guiding mine to shape words like love, future, beautiful. His mother, Evelyn, joined us for dinners sometimes, her eyes misty as she watched us communicate. After the accident, he pulled away from everyone, she confided one evening. Broke up with his ex, Rebecca, because she said she couldn't handle the silence. Imagine abandoning someone you love over something like that. 8 months later, Michael proposed on a crisp autumn evening by the lake. He wrote the words huge in the sand with a stick. "Will you marry me, Laura?" Tears blurred my vision as I signed, yes, repeatedly. The diamond ring felt heavy.
Perfect.
We married 4 months later in a small ceremony outside Chicago, an ASL interpreter voicing our vows. I signed mine through streaming tears, convinced I'd found my soulmate, someone who chose connection deliberately, word by word. We moved to a cozy house in Austin when Michael's software company expanded there. Life felt full. His business was booming, talk of investors and expansion. Evelyn suggested I scale back my freelance design work. "You'll want more time once the baby arrives," she said over Sunday dinner. Michael nodded enthusiastically. I got pregnant 4 months into marriage. When the test showed positive, I rushed to show him, fumbling signs and excitement. He pulled me close, signing slowly, "You'll be an incredible mother." The pregnancy drained me, constant nausea, fatigue that made deadlines impossible. At 5 months, I quit my contracts. Michael reassured me. He earned more than enough. Evelyn helped fold baby clothes, beaming. 6 months along, exhausted but content. I was prepping dinner that fateful night when everything unraveled. I held up that simple note about wine, and instead of taking it, Michael spoke.
Laura.
"I need to tell you something." The room spun. I'm not deaf. I never was. I couldn't breathe properly. "You can hear me?" I whispered, voice cracking. He nodded. That voice smooth, confident, continuing. "I've heard every word, every conversation. This entire time." The baby kicked harder, protesting the sudden tension flooding my body. I backed against the counter, vegetables forgotten, salmon burning unnoticed on the stove. "Let me explain," Michael pleaded. "The car accident story. It wasn't real."
Well,
I had a minor fender bender at 19, but no hearing loss. After Rebecca left me, she called me boring, too wrapped up in work. Not exciting enough. I was destroyed. Evelyn, my mother, suggested a way to find someone genuine, someone who would stay through hardship. We created this
test.
Pretend I was deaf. Any woman who got frustrated or left wouldn't be right. But one who learned to sign, who adapted patiently, that would be someone special. Special. The word tasted like ash. My hands instinctively cradled my belly. "Your mother knows?" He hesitated just a second too long. "Oh God. She knows." The tears at dinners. The gratitude that I accepted you, it was all scripted. Anger surged hot and fast. "You've been lying for 2 years. I learned an entire language. I quit my career. I'm carrying your child. And this was all a game." "It wasn't a game," he insisted, voice rising. "It was to protect myself. I'm not great with people, Laura. Small talk terrifies me.
Parties exhaust me.
Being deaf gave me an excuse to stay quiet, to seem mysterious instead of awkward. People pitied me, admired my strength. And you. You saw someone who needed you. I took advantage because I was scared I'd lose you otherwise." I shouted now, voice echoing off the kitchen walls. You stole my life. I thought I was supporting you, sacrificing for our future. But you're not disabled, you're manipulative. Both of you. His face paled. Get out, I demanded. Go stay with your mother, your partner in this fraud. He grabbed his keys and left without another word, the door clicking shut behind him. The salmon charred black. I sank to the floor, surrounded by ASL textbooks and notebooks filled with my practice signs, ripping pages out in fury. Sobs racked my body until my sister, Claire, arrived after my frantic call. She found me there, held me as I repeated, he was never deaf. It was all fake. I called my mother next. Did you know? Silence stretched. Evelyn mentioned they wanted to ensure commitment. I slammed the phone down, shattering it against the wall. Even my own mother had played along, eager to marry off her spinster daughter. Alone at 33. Unemployed. Pregnant. Savings tied up in the house. I felt unmoored. Michael called endlessly. I ignored him. He left letters. I burned them. Evelyn showed up once, pleading through the door. You're carrying my grandchild. I yelled back. You watched me struggle with signs. Quit everything. All while testing me like some experiment. She left eventually. Claire stayed for days. A therapist,
Dr.
Elena Vargas, came recommended. In our first session, I poured everything out, the loneliness before Michael, the relief of his apparent patience, the signing classes, the pregnancy, the reveal.
Dr.
Vargas listened intently. That's profound betrayal, she said finally. Your consent was violated on every level. When she asked why I'd loved him, I hesitated. He seemed kind, thoughtful because he had to communicate deliberately. Quiet, never interrupting. She leaned in. Did you fall for Michael? Or the version created by his silence? That question haunted me for weeks. Michael agreed to joint sessions. He looked wrecked, thinner, shadowed eyes. Why really? I demanded. I'm a coward, he admitted. Boring with people. The deafness let me hide. You were out of my league. But as the deaf guy, I had a shot. I used your kindness selfishly. I wanted to scream. You watched me give up my work, my independence. He offered financial support. Nanny help later. Whatever it takes.
Dr.
Vargas reminded him consequences weren't fixed by money.
The midweekly.
Sometimes twice. He answered every brutal question. Had he laughed at my sign mistakes? Occasionally.
Yes.
Read my journals? Never. Did he love me? With tears? Yes.
Deeply.
At 7 months pregnant, I moved back to the house under strict conditions. He stayed in the guest room. We coexisted tensely. Then, 3 weeks early, our daughter Sophia arrived screaming into the world. In the delivery room, Michael cried silently in the corner. I handed her over. His face softened in pure awe. She's perfect, he whispered. Ours, I replied softly. Sophia changed the air between us. In midnight feedings, Michael handled diapers and bottles competently, patient through her colic. I had to be, he said one exhausted night. I'd already failed you. I couldn't fail her. Those early months blurred into a rhythm of survival and tentative steps. Sophia's cries pulled us together practically, even as emotional wounds festered. I was still furious, waking some nights replaying the kitchen moment, the sound of his voice hitting like a slap. But watching him rock her gently, whispering real words now, cracked something in my resolve. Therapy continued. Olivia in a carrier, sometimes, her tiny presence grounding us.
Dr.
Vargas guided hard conversations. Complete transparency, she emphasized. Michael confessed more, The planning with Evelyn after Rebecca's breakup. How the test started as a half-joke but became serious when he met me. I told myself it was for love, but it was fear. I confronted my part too, the way I'd idealized his silence, seeing it as depth rather than avoidance. 6 months postpartum. Anger still simmered. I don't know if I'll ever fully trust you, I told him one session. He accepted it. I understand. The timeline is yours. He gave space on bad days, showed up reliably on others. Individual therapy helped him unpack his social anxieties and control issues rooted in childhood. Evelyn was harder. I refused contact for over a year. When Sophia turned 14 months, I finally met her at a neutral park. I owe you everything an apology, she said, voice trembling. I thought I was helping Michael after my own failed marriage. But really I was controlling. I hurt you deeply. I'm sorry. It wasn't absolution. But I set boundaries. If you want time with Sophia, no more manipulation. Get real therapy yourself. I won't let that mindset near my daughter. She agreed. Surprised but compliant. Our relationship stayed distant. Civil at best for holidays. My mother was thornier. She still defended it as helping her daughter settle down. We became cordial for Sophia's sake. But the fracture never mended fully. Calls were polite. Visits brief. Michael and I rebuilt slowly. Not the fairy tale romance of signed notes and assumed patience, but honest talks about fears, mistakes, daily life. He supported my return to freelance design part-time. Hiring help as needed. We really talked about feelings, not just logistics. 3 years after Sophia, we had Ethan, a boy with Michael's eyes and my determination. Sleepless nights. Chaotic toddler years. The messiness forged something real. In the exhaustion, we chose each other daily. Flaws exposed. On our 10th anniversary, we renewed vows quietly with the kids. Close friends. No interpreter. I promise never to lie again. Even when truth hurts, Michael said. I promise to keep choosing us. Anger and all, I replied. Years passed. Now at 67 and 64. Sophia is married with children of her own. Ethan recently engaged. We sit on our porch in Austin evenings, hands intertwined, watching fireflies. Some nights the kitchen ghost haunts me, the note, the voice, the betrayal crashing back. I wonder what path I might have taken if I'd walked away pregnant and alone. But then memories surface. Sophia's wedding. Michael walking her down the aisle. Tears tracing his face. Ethan calling for ring advice. Quiet talks where we dissect feelings openly. Something the silent Michael never allowed.
Dr.
Vargas had been right in a way. I'd loved the idea. The patient listener who couldn't judge aloud. Who made me feel essential. Michael had loved the version of me who needed to rescue him. But staying forced us to meet the real people, flawed, scared, complicated. We chose the messy honesty over illusion. Was it worth the pain? Some days, yes, the family we built, the growth. Other days, no, the years stolen, the rage that lingers. But it's our life. The one we keep choosing through forgiveness that isn't erasure, but endurance. The hardest truths can birth the truest bonds, if you're willing to stay.